Hey, you really might need to get some more toilet paper in there.
How the hell did you get in here?
You know.
That's my hat.
Does it come in blue?
So I want to start this video off with thank you. A lot of this is really possible because you all watch the channel. I probably would have never, ever gotten a studio if it wasn't for so many of you watching, interacting, and making the channel what it is today. But with that said, let me go ahead and talk about the studio, the space, and everything here, because it's very, very different than my house. So let's start off with the 3D printing area, because I think a lot of people are curious as to what I'm doing. And I have 6 3D printers currently. Right now, there are 5 set up, but I have 6 in the shop. I have 4 Ender 3 V2s and 1 Prusa Mini. And that's basically what does all of the 3D prints for the Etsy store. So everything I ship out is printed off those printers. I have them all set up with direct drive, and they're pretty dialed in, and I think they work really well. They're also really affordable. A lot of people have asked, so that's why I figure I'd talk about that first. If you're interested in those printers, they're down below. And if you're interested in any of the 3D prints, you can check out my store, OriginaldoBo.com, for those as well. All right, so 3D printing is to the right of me, just to the right of the computer. I try not to run the 3D printers while I'm actually doing any filming. I'm trying to get better at that and print while I'm typically in the field. That way I don't have to worry about the noise and the sound from the printers. Over on the left-hand side of the wall, that is where I have all the FPV stuff set up. I have a full workbench now, which honestly, this workbench is invaluable because it allows me to keep things set up and also repair things on the fly. When I used to have my studio at home, I had my, my desk that I used to record at, which was fine, but it also made repairing or fixing or building really difficult because I had to constantly set up the solderer. I had to set up my tools. I had to set up my motors and stuff to be on the table. And it was just a pain in the ass. So it's a lot easier now to build and repair now that I have a dedicated work spot specifically for my tools and my quads, just everything to keep it super organized. It's a lot easier. I've also downsized how many quads I actually have. You'll see that there's only 6 quads on the wall. I have my 4 Apex frames and I have my 2 Shendrone squirts. One of those squirts were actually built by QSL, which I'm pretty happy about. It's like my favorite Cinewoop to fly if I'm going to fly any Cinewoop at all. But I have 6 of them that I rotate through regularly. I'm trying just to fly things consistently, so I don't really need anything else. Just 4 builds, and each build has a specific purpose, and then I have spares of each of the builds, so that works out. Beneath that, I have a toolbox for tools and ND filters and stuff, just to keep things really organized the best I possibly can. It's really helped me out a lot. I have the sort of those pegboards from IKEA, which I think they're amazing. They're a great way to store your backpacks. They're a great way to store your quads on the wall without having to drill separate holes for each individual build that you make. And it's also modular, so it just works out really, really well. Moving back over to here, which is the desk that I have. The desk is the same desk I've had. It's an IKEA Bacant desk, but it's actually modified because the tabletop is actually a Carl-B tabletop that I use the Bacant legs, which works really well, and it also prevents any sort of sagging. I use the LG 34-inch monitor still. I'm filming right now on a Fuji X-T3, streaming into the Ninja Atmos. I've got a cheap GVM light, which is probably the best key light that I've ever had for a streaming setup. I feel like this light even is better than the Elgato, and it's actually cheaper. And the only reason why I say that is because, at least for my skin tones and just skin tones in general, I find that the lighting is so much more natural and softer than the Elgato lights. I don't know why that is, but I'll include a link for this because I think this light is amazing. Got the Rode Podcaster attached to a Blue Compass boom arm. I've gone through a tremendous amount of boom arms, and this is probably the best boom arm that I have used to date. Computer's still basically the same. It's a Ryzen 9 5850 or 5950X, the 16 core version, and then I've got a RTX 3080 in the computer. So pretty happy with the build. It's working pretty good. And then on the desk, we've got our Go XLR and of course the Logitech keyboard and mouse setup, and then two Cantu speakers. So pretty simple setup. To the right, we have the refrigerator, which is probably my favorite part, to have my coffee and beer and everything like right to the left of me. I think that's amazing. And then behind me sits the main filming area. So I wanted a spot in which I can just film, click a button and go. If I made it super easy to film, I would film often. And I find myself filming a lot more now that I've made it easier. It's usually actually pretty bright in the studio because there's 3 different lights, but I turn all the lights off when I do film. They are daylight balanced, but it's just way too bright in here if I keep them on. So I keep them off and I just use my key light, which is a VL 150. I have a Ninja light, which is made by WeLight. It's back on the back wall and it's a bicolor. It just gives a little shot to the back there. I think it works amazing. And then some Savage paper to pull down, keeps it nice and simple and seamless. People have often asked me too what type of lights that I'm using behind me. Those are Pavo tubes. They're actually not bad. You can get some knockoff ones as well, but I use the Pavo tubes from Nanlite, and I think they work awesome. They are definitely worth the investment because it gives you sort of a dynamic look to your set. And I just basically leave those there, flip them on. I keep them set to 6,500 Kelvin just to give a nice clean look. 3 different types of Savage paper on the wall, and gives us a good little transition period too. And then on that back corner, we have like another desk. I use that desk if somebody wants to come put their laptop and they're here, visiting and they need a space to work. They can work from that back area. There's like a stool they can sit on or stand if they choose to. And then of course, I also have all my security system stuff back there as well. I've got a full ring system in the shop, which keeps everything safe. If somebody should happen to break in, motion sensors are going to go off. It's going to send a call out to the sheriff's department. They'll be here in no time. One of the cool things about this office location is the sheriff's substation is literally 2 doors down from me, and there's always sheriffs there. So I know if something happens, they're going to be here quicker than somebody could wipe me out. So yeah, that's always a really good feeling, and probably one of the reasons why I chose this spot over all the other spots. But yeah, that's the studio. I got a bathroom in here. There's not really anything to talk about there. I just use it for storage, but that's it. And this is all really affordable. People have also said like, you're crazy for spending this type of money to have a studio, but this is like costing me $500 a month. So it's a no brainer. Why wouldn't I have a studio if it's only an additional $500? I will never do anything outside of my means. So as long as I know that my budget is X and I have to spend Y, then I'm going to do it as long as it's a profitable decision. I always make good calculated decisions, and I think this was one of my better decisions. But again, if I haven't said it enough, thank you all for the support and everything that you've done. I can't thank you enough. I can't thank enough for the people who helped me put this studio together and help me move stuff. My buddy Nick, Paul for helping me with where things go. My wife for helping me move everything in here. So many people have helped me move stuff and get everything configured. So thank you. You guys are absolutely awesome, and I appreciate all of you. So, all right, that's going to do it for this video. I will be back again with some normal stuff really soon. We'll see you next time. Stay original.
Inch sensor of goodness, the 10-bit color. Shit gets real. And then basically, like 9 months later, there's a baby drone.